Sound is rolling and clap.
Action. Why are you laughing?
I just realised something. The Spike Lee movie is Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
And this episode
I know.
is Do the Wrong Thing.
I know. I did think that this episode was going to have something to do with it, but it didn't.
Nothing at all, no.
Amazing movie, by the way. One of my favourites.
Yeah.
I've probably banged on about it before on the podcast.
I think you have, actually. Is
Okay.
this a bad
It's a
time?
recommendation.
There you go, it's a recommendation. Is this a bad time to say that I haven't seen it?
No. Just make sure you watch it this week.
Am I a bad person for not having seen it?
I think you need to do the right thing and watch
They
it.
did the right thing, but I have seen Do the Wrong Thing, which we'll get into in just a moment. I mean, I don't want to be crazy. I thought I probably shouldn't be giving my review immediately. I think this episode's really good and like very well written, and like you can see they really put a lot of thought in like a lot of the jokes. But I find it very strange that they gave it such a throwaway title.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Like anyone could have came up with that.
It wasn't the best title, but at the end of the day, we're not rating the title.
No, and the title also, it suits what's going on in the episode. It just felt a little lazy in comparison to what I think is a very well written episode. But yeah, anyhow.
At least they don't do that like edgy thing that some shows do, where they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna call this episode 12."
Yeah, I hate that. That always.
With the episode, like a really long title, like the episode where this happens to this character.
Well, that is the name of the one.
Yeah, I know, and I hate it.
The one with Homer and the chili. That one's called The Mysterious Voyage of Our Homer.
I don't like that.
I like that name. Yeah. That's not too long though.
No, it's not bad.
Yeah, there are crazy ones. Trying to think. Oh, there's the one where Grandpa is leading that like flying hellfish army against Mr. Burns. That one's called like Raging Abe Simpson and his grumbling grandson in The Curse of the Flying Hellfish.
It just, I don't know. It's just a bit.
Yeah, it kind of reads like you couldn't think of like a good quick name, so you gave it a long one just to stand out. You know?
Yeah.
Would you say Everything Ever All at Once is an example of that? Is it either too long of a name?
No.
No, it's short enough. It's a long title. It suits the movie.
It's a good title.
It is. To be fair, yeah.
It caught on. It sounds good. Like nothing has a similar name to that.
That's true.
What I will say about that movie though is, sorry,
oh no.
In 2022.
Never good when you say sorry right before you make a point about an Asian.
Because I'm gonna offend some people.
Oh no.
Not the Asian community.
Okay, good. The A24 community.
Yeah, I don't know. They're
powerful people.
People that don't know cinema community, but basically, 2022. You know, I'm frequently watching films. I work at cinema. I get to watch them for free.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this new film looks good. Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think I'll go see that.
Mm-hmm.
Go to cinema, watch the film.
Where is this going?
I'm like, yeah, this is a good film.
Okay, yeah.
But the thing with Asian people, no, I'm joking. I'm like,
oh dear.
I watch it. I'm like, yeah, this is a good film.
Yeah.
And then 1 week later, I'm on social media, and everyone's like, "This is the best film of all time. This is amazing. Everyone has to watch this." And I'm like, guys, this was a great film. It's a really, really good film.
Yeah.
It's not one of the best films ever made, and it's not deserved. It doesn't deserve the hype it got.
Yeah, highest rated film on
really
Letterboxd at the time. Anyway, I remember. Yeah, absolutely mental. It is a great movie. I'm glad it won Best Picture because it was just nice to see something a bit more out there winning Best Picture.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just a Holocaust movie or something. You know what I mean? But one thing I will stay firm on: she's perfectly fine in the movie. Jamie Lee Curtis did not deserve an Oscar for it.
Hell no.
She's just playing a fucking silly character, a grumpy lady
She
in a
deserves
revenue
an
office.
Oscar for what that episode in season 2 of The Bear.
She's fucking fantastic in that, yeah, absolutely. And she's stood out as an amazing actress in many other things. Very throwaway, just goofy, silly part in that. Yeah. It makes no sense to me she won an Oscar for that. It was because that's how big the hype was of Everything Everywhere that even a random side character in the film got a fucking Oscar for it.
It's too far.
It is mental. No, I do agree. It's a good movie. It's not the best movie of all time. That's also just a big thing when that comes out, you know. It's like The Godfather and Shawshank Redemption and everything else, all great movies, don't get me wrong, but I feel like so many people who say it's their favourite movie are just saying that because it's a popular safe
choice,
opinion and nobody's going to challenge you on, you know what I mean?
True.
But yeah, have more unique thoughts is
Well,
the lesson we're trying to make here.
Was their favourite movie?
Star Wars.
If someone said Godfather was their
The
favourite
Godfather.
movie, I would challenge it.
Yeah,
because I'd say
as good as it is.
But I'd say, why not number 2?
For number 2.
Much better.
Okay,
No,
fair enough.
It's better. It's not much better. It's better.
Yeah. I think I prefer the first one by a little bit, personally. 2 is so good, but it's less. It's so much. It's such a bulk of a movie. It's two movies squeezed into one.
Yeah, true.
Whereas, the one is just got a little tighter. It's a more enjoyable viewing for me. Yeah. Godfather 2 is heavy. There's like a load that is dumped on you all at once. Yeah. Godfather 3 could have been so much better if they just gave it the original title.
I know.
It was like the death of Michael Corleone, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
It made more. I get why they changed it because marketing and everything, but it just made more sense because it clearly wasn't part 3. It was a different movie, a different vibe. Yeah, exactly. Left Francis Ford Coppola of duty once. That man, one of the biggest directors in the world, and he had to fund his last movie. Isn't that sad? He directed the most iconic film of all time.
He didn't want to do it.
No?
He didn't want to direct The Godfather.
Wow.
They just were paying him so much, he was like, alright, fine.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of makes sense because all his other movies aren't to that tone. So I guess that makes sense. But God, like, he directed 2 of the most iconic films of all time, and he had to fund his own movie. Like, it makes me sad. It's like, what hope do any of us have if this man's having to fund his own film? Yeah. Crazy. Anyhow, massive tangents. I like it though. Let's jump into Do the Wrong Thing, as we already mentioned. This is the 10th episode of the 35th season. Let's jump in. We immediately open up on Ken Brotman reporting that Abe Simpson is bowing trout after his 20th straight win at the annual fishing derby. And he just turns to the side and goes, "Stay tuned for a shocking story about a certain with a god complex who kills patients just for the hell of it." And then back to the fishing story. Little great dark gag immediately. Abe says he wants to hand over his only talent to his son. And news report just pops up. So many great signs throughout this episode, I thought. Like, basically you have to pause to read the text. So many of those. News report just goes, "New boring hobby heals old boring wounds." And then Abe just goes, "Oh, you fish out there watching, he's coming for you." Mary says it's sexy to see Homer on the local news for something that isn't horrible. But Homer says he has no faith that he'll win. So he never wins anything. But Mary says all he needs to do is hold a stick. He's like, or sit and hold a stick. He's like, "That's 2 things." We then got to Springfield Elementary. Again, a great science language lab still under Hornet control. Lisa goes into Skinner asking him to write her a letter of recommendation to attend the Springfield University summer camp. Skinner says that the only letters he's ever been asked to write before are for judges requesting leniency. He reminds him that she was the hamster monitor, the art club parliamentarian, and led the charge to get the lunch ladies ethical hairnets, whatever the hell that means. And he just goes, "Okay, many interests." And the printer catches on fire, and she's like, never mind. That whole scene kind of didn't need to be there. It was very throwaway. I'm always happy to see Skinner, so, it's fine. We didn't cut to the fishing derby. Again, I will keep bringing up the signs, because there were so freaking many in this episode. There's a sign saying, "Duff, the fish are drinking, why aren't you?" We see that it's also sponsored by Duff Camo. The deer will never see that you're drunk. Then cut to it's 3 hours in and all the fishers are getting butt fatigue. Bart says if he wanted to watch Homer sit and do nothing, he'd visit him at work. Then I just realized that little spoiler, I guess, for Seb's Classics. This episode is very Homer and Bart heavy, and the one we're reviewing later is Homer and Bart heavy. Nice little connection there, yeah. Lisa's envious that the other camp applicants are accomplishing something while she's getting a tan line from her pearls. She decides to pick up litter and to make sure beavers aren't chewing on washed up mannequin arms. And Marge just murmurs, and Homer asks her to murmur a little quieter because he's trying to fish. He then catches the hook in his lip. Great little, almost like that classic, man slipping over banana peel guys, him getting the hook stuck in his lips. Great animation, great visual. And then when he's trying to get off, the boat topples over and a fish lands in it. And we then cut to a commercial for the Happy Hood. So your fish is smiling when you catch it, when you cut it open, rather than staring at you with its cold, dead eyes. And there's also a new mobile game for it as well. We then come back to Homer winning with the heaviest fish. He's struggling to get the medal over his neck. He's never worn one before. And Grandpa says that he never loved them more. We then cut them cutting open the fish back at home. Mary says she can't wait for the whole house to stink like victory. Homer cuts it open and marbles slip out of it. And he thinks that must be where marbles come from, like how pearls come from lobsters. When Bart says that he added them because watching him lose was so boring. Little like, it doesn't really matter. How could he have gotten the marbles in anyone seeing that?
True.
Homer had the fish the whole time.
Yeah.
That was a bit like, how would he have gotten the marbles in? Yeah, it did. It's fine, and it propels the plot, but they kind of stick out to me a little bit. Then Homer goes to strangle him. We think he's going to strangle him, but he hugs him instead, and he says he's never been more proud of him. We then cut back to Springfield Elementary once again. Another sign is saying fire drill cancelled due to actual fire. Which I always think about whenever places have those fire drill tests. It's like, what if there's an actual fire when the drill is happening?
Yeah.
And no one takes it seriously. I always think about that. No one takes it seriously because they were just told there was a drill.
Yeah.
But I even find there's so many fire drills that even when an alarm does go off, people are always quick to be like, it's probably a drill.
I thought that, but at least you're doing the drill.
Of course.
But it's like, I think that when buildings do alarm tests, it's not a drill, but they just test the alarms.
Mm.
Like, what if that's an actual fire alarm, but you just think it's a test?
Yeah, because they're doing it during the test. I always think about that. It must have happened in life.
Must have.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. When it cut to Milhouse reading a poem about his trip to the Oregon Trail. It's a shit poem because we took a trip to the Pacific because we heard it was terrific. We set up camp. We got it ready. Then for dinner, meatballs and spaghetti. That was so well written because they didn't try to make it good. It's literally like if a 10-year-old wrote a poem.
Yeah.
Because you had to do poems in school, and you would just think if you managed to make one word rhyme with another word, you were a genius. And that's exactly what Milhouse is doing.
I remember in year 6,
yeah.
This reminds me, this was like early signs, I think, that I was going to be really good at English. Because
you're very good at English. You speak it very well.
It's the best language.
Yeah.
It's up there.
Yeah.
No, basically.
I prefer Mandarin.
I prefer tangerines.
Oh, there you go. I prefer Irish. No one agrees? Sorry, go on. It was every sign that you were good at English.
Because I remember we were doing, I can't remember what it was, but they were like asking for definitions of words.
Oh.
And I got given the word wisdom.
Ooh.
And my teacher was like, Sebastian, what do you think wisdom means?
Oh, wow.
And remember, I was like, wisdom is the maturity of knowledge.
Jesus.
And my teacher was
How old did you say you were?
I was in year 6, so I was 9 or 10 years old.
Jesus Christ, the maturity of knowledge. They're like, he's going to ship to school.
They were literally like, this was like the biggest moment in my primary school career. Because
that's
like,
in your life.
They were like, that's incredible. Like, how did you think of that? And I was like, oh, it
just came to me. It is very good.
It is good.
And then you got your first erection.
Yeah. That's my first blowjob.
Jesus.
That was my award.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, I have to. That's just so good. Maturity of knowledge. Here we go.
Should use some maturity.
Yeah, the authorities will understand.
Yeah.
I mean, he explained wisdom so well.
He's basically an adult.
You need to hear his definition of wisdom. Probably a better definition that's in the friggin' dictionary. But yeah, then Homer turns up to bring Bart to the doctor's appointment. Got them in the car. He says he's taking him cheating as he wants to feel the rush again. We cut to the Springfield Rock Skipping Championships. Again, more signs. Gordy's rock throwing gloves. 10,000 rioters. Can't be wrong. Another sign saying, try Dwayne The Rock Johnson's The Rock Rocks. So dumb. Bart says he doesn't get how they cheat this. A fucking rock skipping competition. But Homer says that planning how to cheat in advance would feel dishonest. We then cut to Marge hoovering, and she also gets out a mini hoover for Lisa's dollhouse. And Mini Hoover is also the nickname my ex gave my penis.
Oh, nice.
Mini Hoover, yeah.
Well, wouldn't she be the mini Hoover?
Oh,
hoovering
I guess.
Mini.
Oh, that's true.
Well, technically, when she was with you, she committed a crime. Because it's a crime for a grown-up to be holding a little boy's willy.
You made that joke earlier and I still laugh because it's genuinely very good.
It's good.
I have to applaud you. Lisa's stressing out as she still hasn't gotten an acceptance letter, but Janie has, as she wrote about her grandmother's immigration story. She's from Ottawa, barely an immigrant. We then see a cut to a pickleball tournament in a desert at 10,000 degrees. This is the sports playing on the TV, and everyone's just fainting while playing tennis. And we see Mo and Barney watching it in the pub, and Mo's like, really scraping the barrel for new sports content. And Barney's like, oh, barrel scraping is up next. He puts on a hat. We then cut back to the rock skipping competition, and Cleus steps up, last year's champion. And the commentator informs us it's not the Nike swoosh on his shoes, but leeches on his bare feet. We then see that he gets 22 skips, which is insane. Like, not a chance you'd get that in real life. And Homer the commentator says he's using the same equipment as the pros, a flat rock that he found on the ground. And he gets 46 skips. And the announcer says this almost makes him hitchhiking here worth it. But when you see that Bart just had a fishing line, and that's how they made it look like it was skipping for that long. And Homer gets a trophy and a check for $100, which I love. There was just like actual funding put into this rock skipping competition. So dumb. Homer says that he feels a scam pulsing in his blood, like sniffing Lotto Scratcher Duster, being like the king of Hamburger Planet. Bart says that he always felt kind of bad for cheating, like on school tests and COVID tests, but cheating with Homer feels right. And Homer says that they're never going to stop cheating. We then cut to a fantastic montage. I do find that sometimes montages can just kind of feel like filler. But this was like, there was work put into it, and like it propelled the plot in a good way too. It was like genuinely good montage. And a great little parody song too that I'll definitely include in the audio. Like a parody of kind of country western music to get your cheat on. Really good. But again, loads more signs in this montage as well. They're at the cornhole tournament, and Bart's using a drone in the pillowcase. They had to go straight into the bullseye, and there's a sign there saying Gordy's cornhole gloves, where fashion meets physics, and Krusty Burger, home of throwing things up. And then they go to the Frisbee Open, and Bart's using a leaf blower just to get it right into the goal. A leaf blower is what I call my ex. There you go. That was a nickname. Better get the leaf blower out. Yeah. It's ready. And there's a sign at the Frisbee Open saying Frisbee Wax, as used by Glenn Como. He's the Tiger Woods of this thing. And Gordy's Frisbee gloves for the non-throwing hand. We see the Homer wins 2 barbecues and a wheelbarrow of ham, which is just the most Homer prize ever. A wheelbarrow of ham. I always think ham looks so delicious in cartoons.
Oh yeah, when it's like on a stick.
Yeah,
it's got like the bone in the middle.
It looks so good. It looks nicer than ham in real life. I mean, I do like ham, but it isn't like aesthetically.
Well, we're so used to just seeing it in like packets as well, like sliced ham.
Yeah. It looks like, someone's vagina got sunburned,
But I think ham in cartoons sort of looks like gammon.
It does actually, yeah, you're right.
Gammon, I guess, is ham, but like, in the shop, and it's like wrapped in the...
Yeah, it looks better in the cartoons though. In Tom and Jerry, when it's like freshly cooked, and you see like the dog is going for it, it looks so good.
Honestly, it makes me want to like... It's the kind of thing... I love gammon. Gammon is delicious.
Yeah, I'll show you gammon.
And gammon kind of it's when you fall asleep and like someone's cooking while you're asleep, and you don't even realize, but like the smell is like going up your nostrils, and you start like floating in midair like towards the food. Or like when someone leaves a pie on the windowsill, and like you walk past and it smells so good that you start levitating towards the pie.
And you can see the smell, the odor, and it goes right up your nose, and you're walking towards it. That's such a great visual. You coming out of the bed. In my head, you're wearing like the classic like cartoon pajamas with the hat and everything.
Yeah. The one where like when you fall asleep, you go.
Yeah.
The ball from like the top of the hat is just like going up while you're asleep.
And while you're going to the kitchen, so to sleep, your slippers just like conveniently slip onto you.
And when you need to go to like the kitchen or bathroom at night, you like light a little candle to put it down the hall.
It's pitch dark. Yeah. We then cut to a poker tournament. Bart's using binoculars to see their deck, and reports to Homer using a butt buzzer, a rectal messenger. There's a sign there saying Gordy's poker glove, grip it and rip it, and Krusty Burger, pretty much food. And the craziest prize, he wins a grandfather clock and 2 jukeboxes. We're going to cut to the face slapping championship. A sign there that's saying, "What have we become?" And Bart covers Homer's face in numbing spray. He wins that. And we cut to them drinking from their trophies. And Homer says he finally gets why people become dads on purpose. And Marge says he's suspicious of all the things that Homer's winning. And Lisa just assumed that sports in America was getting easier. Marge says that they need to talk to Homer. He's like, "I like when we talk, but I don't like when we need to talk." And yes, there's a side note there. I can't stand people do that. Like, I really need to talk to you about something. Like, oh my god, just tell me now.
Yeah, true.
Your mind goes to the worst places when someone says
did
that.
This to you the other
Yeah,
day.
you did. Yeah, I realized at the moment I spoke, I was like, oh shit, he did this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that she messaged me like, oh, I need to talk to you about something. I think you said to me on Sunday, and we weren't going to meet until Wednesday, and I was like, I'm not waiting 4 days.
And I was like, no, it's nothing bad. Like, don't worry about it. It's like, how can you not be thinking about it?
Of course, I'm like,
I know, but I think I do it out of respect because I don't want to like say to someone like, you know,
over text.
Yeah, you're not my friend anymore over text. I don't know.
Yeah, which is what he had to tell me. We're not friends anymore. We're still doing the podcast, but the moment we stop recording, we're professional. But the moment we stop recording, we have no interaction with each other whatsoever. I click that red button and you literally just storm out the door.
Pretty much.
It's bad. I'm glad we can still fake this relationship for the podcasters out there.
Faking relationships is my best trait.
Yeah. Your girlfriend just seems to believe in it. But yeah, Marge says they need to talk. She asks if he's been cheating, and he wipes his forehead with a wrestling belt. It's such a great little visual, like a gulp. He admits that he is cheating, but it's a father-son thing. But she asks if he could just coach his soccer instead, and he's like, "Oh, you mean bribing refs?" And she says that he should just try to be a good dad. He's like, "Oh, where's the free jet skis in that?" He says that he wants his kids to succeed, and not cheating is cheating them. We then cut to a representative from Springfield University coming in to tell Lisa that she got in. She welcomes her as a member of the camp rowing team and says that her application photos are amazing. She checks the application and sees photoshopped images of her rowing, and they're all so clearly fake. Like, how did they fall for it? And the last one was a black woman with her face over it. So good. We then cut to the Springfield Axe Games. There's a sign there saying Krusty Burger introducing axe-free chicken. You can taste the trauma. Marge, or sorry, oh yes, another sign. McFadden's.
When you're at a chicken shop, like me and you probably tried a fair few different chicken places in London.
Yeah, another sign saying McFadden's Mortuary.
What I was gonna say was.
Oh, sorry, it's about chicken shops.
The chicken. Is me and you have tried a fair few like chicken places in London.
That's for sure.
And you know when like you taste a chicken wing and you just know that it had a really bad life. You like eat that chicken wing, you're like you did like you must have had such a bad life.
Are you saying like because the chicken is shit? Or?
Yeah, like you can taste how bad the chicken's life must have been. It's
I never thought of it that way.
It's like a horrible like gristly like wing. It's like
skinny and I never thought of it that way, but yeah, I guess that's true because you taste some chicken that's fucking horrible, whereas when you taste a good full like hearty breast of chicken, is like that chicken was well taken care of before they chopped its fucking head off and fed it to the poor. But interesting. We then cut to McFadden. Another sign is saying McFadden's Mortuary because sometimes the axe slips. Lisa calls out Homer for cheating, and Bart's like, "Why would we help someone who's for cheating on her college application?" And Bart calls her out, being like, "Why would we help someone who's already good at things?" We see that the prize for this is an electric truck that they converted back to gas for the Axe Championships, and they shout out, or Lisa shouts out that he's cheating, and the sea captain drops his axe in shock, and we just hear Moleman go, "Oh, my foot." He reveals there's a magnet hidden behind his board, and Cleese's like, "I bet he cheated all the other events he surprisingly and illogically won." And they start coming for him, and Homer throws the axe the wrong way. And we just hear Moleman again just go, "My stump." Something I never noticed actually until I heard that gag, because we could hear Moleman but we couldn't see him. He sounds so similar to Grandpa. I didn't know how I never noticed that. It's obviously the same voice actor.
Yeah.
He just sounds like a more pathetic Grandpa.
Pretty much.
Which is
what he is.
But yeah, which is pretty much what he is, which is very unfortunate for Moment because Grandpa's already pretty pathetic, and he's a more pathetic version of him. The family then flee on a motorbike, and Homer just goes, "Oh, it looks like you just got cheated out of your revenge." We then cut to Lisa saying that while they escaped, she got even more mad, and Marge reveals that it was her who uploaded the rowing photos. We see Homer is outraged to hear that he's corrupted Marge. He's like, "What have I done other than everything that I already did, or other than everything that I know I did?" She says that she didn't cheat to win a beef jerky dehydrator or a Harley Davidson beer shampoo, but to see her kids succeed. And immediately makes Homer throw up hearing Marge be corrupt. Lisa is outraged she cheated her out of getting it on her own merit, because she worked hard, she cleaned the beaches and helped old people to email while working with 72 point font. And Homer and Bart vow to never bond again, promising this is the last time that they'll hug. And the mob finds them because of all of Homer's guilt vomiting. A big group of men just take them away, and it's just the mob left there on their own. And Cletus is like, "You think we'll all still be friends after this, or just drift apart?" They don't say anything. It's like, drift apart it is. It takes them, the guys in the van take them to Springfield University, and they get greeted by the dean, who welcomes them, saying that his institution has a proud tradition of embracing cheating, and says that Lisa's far from the only person who cheated on their application. We see they got an application from a 10-year-old who claims that he performed open heart surgery, and a 12-year-old who claims that it was her idea to use big fat straws for bubble tea. And he says that this nation is always cheating, like such as taxpayers hiding their profit from the IRS, and dating profiles are nothing but lies. Which leads me to want to ask an interesting question: have you ever lied a dating profile?
I think we all have.
Yeah.
I think everyone does.
A little bit, yeah.
Men and women both lie on their dating profiles because it's like a job application, isn't it?
Yeah, Jesus.
Like, the jobs you lie, like everything's a bit of an exaggeration.
Yeah, of course.
I would say.
Yeah, it is cruel to look at it that way, but it's true. You have to exaggerate a little bit. Yeah,
you do.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, Jesus, a dating profile is like a CV for your personal life if you're single. Yeah, that is so weird. They plead Lisa to accept the prestigious Lance Armstrong summer scholarship. Hands her a badge that says "Cheat Strong," but she chooses honesty. But then she starts struggling to leave the room, and Marge has to push her out. And Homer tells the dean to tell the rowing coach that he's sorry they lied, but he says that she's used to it. We just cut out and we see a bunch of people that clearly can't row. Some of them are floating out of the boat and everything. Great visual. He offers Homer a lecturing job in their faculty of cheating studies to shape the mind of tomorrow's white collar criminals, but he rejects it, vowing to never cheat again, except on diets. We then cut to him trying to actually skip a rock for real, and immediately just falls flat into the ocean. And he asks where Bart is, but Lisa says that he had an appointment. And we cut to him, we see that he's accepted the lecturing job. The class is called Intro to Cheating 101. He goes, "Look to your left, now look to your right. These are the people you'll be cheating off of." Yeah, just thought this episode was wonderful.
Did you?
Oh yeah? Not as big of a fan?
I didn't think it was good. I'm sorry.
You didn't think it was good?
I didn't think it was great. I thought it was okay.
Oh wow, okay. Definitely different opinions here today then, yeah.
I think
throw it at me.
It felt a bit messy.
God, I don't agree at all. Okay, but let's have your opinion first.
In my opinion, from watching it, it felt very detached from The Simpsons. It didn't feel... If that makes sense, it didn't feel like The Simpsons. I don't know how to describe this.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. And it was funny, and we had good Bart Homer moments.
So many.
I haven't had that for a while.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. I hadn't had a Homer Bart episode in ages.
Which is where the episode thrived.
Big time.
But it felt a bit messy for me. I didn't really connect with it. It didn't feel cohesive. A little bit rushed and. Yeah, just.
I heard your girlfriend get the same critique last time you had sex.
Nice.
Felt a bit rushed.
Yeah, a bit detached.
Detached.
It detaches, It's like a piece I can pull on. I can add extensions to it.
You way too many extensions recently. I've heard. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Why is it black?
Maybe 6.5.
6.5. Wow.
Yeah, not for me.
This will be the biggest disagreement we've had in a while.
Yeah.
I am very surprised. I gave it an 8.5. I loved it, man.
God.
I don't agree with anything you said, really. I don't get why you don't think it felt like a Simpsons episode.
I don't know. It just didn't have that same. It was nice, and it was a good episode, but like it didn't have that same. The heartfelt moments didn't feel as real.
There wasn't really heartfelt moments because they're all being immorally wrong in the episode.
Yeah,
I know. I really enjoyed it. I have to say, I love the Homer and Bart dynamic. I mean, what have I written here? I said I thought it was the season highlight so far.
Wow.
Not the best episode, but like one that stood out to me. So I loved Homer and Bart's dynamic. I loved having the whole family get involved. So I thought it was very cleverly written. And what I mean by that is like there wasn't a lot of gags that I laughed out loud at, but like I was like, oh, that's good writing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's a good joke. Like in that kind of way. There's different styles of jokes in The Simpsons. They definitely touch on different genres of comedy all the time. This one kind of felt more like a one that like you could just watch and appreciate the gags. You know, especially all of the signs. I thought were so good. I thought the pacing was really good. Like the story just flowed really well, and I never felt bored of it. I'm guessing you wouldn't agree with that.
No,
you wouldn't. Did you not think the pacing was good?
To be honest, I thought it was a bit rushed.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I mean though. Like it was very fast. Like it never felt like it was going to.
I don't know. I just didn't feel like I could really stop to process it. I think a lot of new episodes maybe suffer from trying to be too quick,
trying to be tight.
Keep up with the quick hits of dopamine that this generation needs.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think The Simpsons falls victim to that really. Maybe sometimes. I wouldn't use this episode as an example though. I would say like the one last season where they're like the family vlog channel, that one is very quick and like definitely a dopamine rush. I don't feel that way about this episode though. I think it's cleverly written and like jokes that challenge you to actually listen to it properly to appreciate it. I mean, there's signs in this episode that happen so quickly you have to actually pause it to even read it fully. You know,
True.
Had some cool bits like that. And I mentioned that too. Great signs throughout. I couldn't stop pausing, which I think is a weird thing to praise it for, but like that's how much thought was put into so many different gags throughout. I had to actually pause and be like, oh, that's a good sign. You know, like the Dwayne The Rock Johnson one. It was like I had to because that was such a long sign. I had to pause it to read it. It's on the screen for like a total of maybe 5 seconds. You know, but yeah, geez, we haven't disagreed this much in a long time. Yeah. Really met.
That's a whole 2 points different.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I finished this episode being like, oh, how that was so wonderful, and obviously you felt the complete opposite.
It's not like I was like, that was shit.
No, I mean, 6.5 is still like
good score.
You liked it, but you didn't love it. I mean, I gave it 8.5, so I really liked it. Jeez, well, there you go. Sometimes that happens. All right, let's jump into the news then.
Ooh.
So how many pieces of news do I have this week? Oh, just two. There's currently a large petition online for Disney Plus to add a randomize button for The Simpsons, which I don't think they'll actually do because who actually listens to petitions? But I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
Well, I think why don't they just have that on any cartoon
or just any streaming service? Yeah,
like,
totally.
Obviously, you're not gonna like watch Breaking Bad and have it on shuffle.
Yeah, because
but like, why don't they just put that on all shows that aren't cohesive?
Yeah, shows like Always Sunny and like The Office and stuff where you can just watch any episode.
Just have it on shuffle.
Totally. Because that's kind of the appeal of it too. Because with streaming services, it's like you'll only ever choose the episodes that you know are great, but there's like hidden gems.
It's nice to take a risk and be like, oh, I fancy Simpsons, I'll just let it decide for me.
Yeah, because there's like hidden gems that you'd forget about, and you'd be like, oh wait, this is a great episode. I mean, the one that we're doing for Seb's Classics is an example of that. I think it's a great episode, but I always forget about it.
Actually, now that you said that, the next Seb's Classics, and even if it's an episode we've done before, or it's a new episode, unless it's one we need to review like later on this season.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on a Simpsons episode generator.
Oh yeah.
And just generate a random episode.
For now on, or just like
no, for next week.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
So
we just have
it's
to
gonna
review
be
it.
completely random. Even if it's one we've done before, if it's like one we don't like.
Even if it's one we've done before,
yeah.
I don't think we should review an episode we've already reviewed. Personally,
okay.
I would click randomize again.
So if it's an episode we've done before, we can't do it. And
no.
if it's an episode that we are yet to review. Like,
yeah, of course, yeah. Well, the thing is, there's so many Simpsons episodes. It's more than likely going to generate one we haven't done.
I ended up getting this episode.
We just had to do it for Seb's Classics next week, even though you made it known that you don't really like it, so it's hardly a Seb's Classic.
I'll just be like, if you want to know about the episode, just listen to last week.
Yeah, that's Seb's Classic. All right, next segment. But yeah, that's a petition. I don't think anything will come of it, but I would love it if it did. And this one I thought was really cool. When asked in a recent interview what his favorite episode is, Hank Azaria said it's Homer's Enemy. Nice. Hank Azaria being the voice of Moe, comic book guy, Chief Wiggum, loads of amazing characters, and he also voiced Frank Grimes.
It's the highest ranked episode on IMDb.
Is it? Yeah, I didn't know that. Well, today. It wasn't always. At one point, it was Homer to Smithers.
It definitely has aged really well.
Terrifically, yeah. At one point, it was Homer. I was about to say horrifically. Yeah, no, nothing horrific about Homer's Enemy. Yeah, at one point, it was Homer to Smithers. I remember. And then another point, it was You Only Move Twice, the Hank Scorpio episode. But now it's Homer's Enemy. Fair enough. I would say I prefer Homer's Enemy to those two episodes you just mentioned.
Me too.
Yeah, it is fantastic. But yeah, when asked to explain why, he says that he loved playing Frank Grimes because of how grounded he is. That he was the polar opposite to any of his other characters, because he plays Wiggum and Moe and stuff, like really exaggerated caricatures. Whereas like Frank Grimes is a real guy. He reveals
Frank Grimes is like not meant to be in that universe.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he's there by accident.
He's a real person that's just appeared there.
Yeah, reacting to the ridiculousness of Springfield, and obviously particularly to Homer. I never knew this. He reveals that the part was initially written for William H. Macy, so he tried to channel his energy, and it says he did the best he could. I think he did an absolutely amazing job. That makes sense though, because at the time that episode came out, it wouldn't have been too long after Fargo. That makes, because his character in Fargo has a similar energy to Frank Grimes, so it made sense that maybe they saw that movie and were like, oh, he'd be great for this part. But yeah, interestingly, he didn't do it for some reason. I don't know why. William H. Macy also auditioned to play Brian in Family Guy.
Oh, mad.
Yeah, so he nearly had a good part in like probably the two most successful animated series of all time.
Yeah,
close to anyway. But Simpsons is the most successful. Family Guy is obviously up there. And he says that he loved how the episode turned out. He said it was a rare opportunity to do an emotional performance on the show, which is true. Like, Frank Grimes experiences all emotions in that episode. It's like he's a very three-dimensional character. So yeah, I thought that was interesting here, and a very good reason as to why it's his favorite episode for sure. But yeah, jumping into Seb's Classics.
Yeah, so Seb's Classic is King of the Hill.
King of the Hill.
Which I surprisingly think I'd only seen like one time.
Really? Before. Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, it's an episode that I always forget about. And to be honest, when you said it, I was like, yeah, I think this episode's alright. And then I watched it and I was like, oh no, this is great.
It's great.
It's such a good episode,
it's a cool crossover. Like, people forget that. People forget about King of the Hill as a TV show as well. Like,
I've never seen it. I need to. I know I'd like it.
I like it. It's definitely one of those shows you have to be in like a specific mood for.
Yeah, it's a very particular
it's so
style.
Monotone and like,
Yeah, that's Mike Judge's writing style for sure.
Yeah.
But when Seb calls it a crossover, it's not actually.
Yeah.
There's no characters from King of the Hill in this episode.
Yeah.
I'm sure people know that. Yeah. Just a silly name.
So, after his obesity embarrasses Bart at a church picnic, Homer attempts to lose weight by going on midnight jogs around the town.
Pause for a second. One of my favorite guys of the whole episode is at the church picnic. Mr. Burns is like getting a tan on in his limo.
Yeah.
And he's like, this, well, how is that kite coming along? And Mr. Burns is like, soaring high, sir. And we see it's just flat on the ground. And Ralph comes up and tags Mr. Burns. He's like, you're it. He's like, oh, we'll see about that. He just starts chasing him with his limo. He's like, you're not it. Such a great gag. Made me laugh out loud. But yeah, go on.
He soon discovers Power Source, an energy bar made with apples, which he starts to eat regularly. At a gym, Homer meets Rainier Wolfcastle, who becomes his fitness coach. In 2 months, Homer is healthier and more muscular.
He looked hot.
Yeah,
big old muscular Homer. My goodness.
Reveals his exercise habits to his family. At the gym, two Power Source representatives, Brad and Neil, Brad played by
Brendan Fraser. Yeah.
Ask Grenier to climb the top of Springfield's tallest mountain, the Murder Horn, which is a publicity stunt. He refuses, but Bart insists Homer volunteers to do it.
Yeah.
Grandpa begs Homer not to climb the mountain, telling him how he died when he was betrayed by a friend, C.W. McAllister.
That detail of the episode is absolutely mental.
Yeah.
So, can we just dissect the grandpa thing for a second? I feel like this always went over my head until watching it this morning. He tells in the story of the guy took his oxygen tank and pushed him away, and he says that he fell 10,000 feet and landed on a bunch of rocks. And he's like, oh, but we were tougher back then, you know. I was dancing that very night. It gets revealed later on when Homer's climbing the mountain. He finds the guy, he reads his journal and sees that it was the other way around. Grandpa abandoned him and took all of the oxygen tanks, and also took a bite out of his left arm. What I found so weird about that bit is when Homer sees it, he's just like, "Oh, Dad." Could you imagine if you found out your dad
ate someone,
leapt off for dead, and committed cannibalism? And then this whole little arc concludes at the very end when the mountain collapses and the dead body washes up. Dr. Hibbert just goes over to it and is like, he's dead. Obviously. And they see the chunk out of the arm. Grandma's like, I wonder what happened. And his dentures slip out and just land perfectly onto where the arm was. So good. And he's like, I can explain. Runs away. That whole bit was so dark but so funny. Yeah. Do go on.
So Homer accepts anyway. Despite this, he accepts challenge and he is aided by two Sherpas whom he fires after waking up one night to find them secretly dragging him up.
Yeah.
Homer radios this to Brad and Neil, who fail to convince him to abandon the climb, even informing him that the Power Source bars are actually just junk food shop.
Yeah, that was funny too. And he's like, it's just apple cores and Chinese newspapers.
Yeah.
And he just looks into the bar. He's like, Ching Chong Chow died. That's so dumb.
A Ching Chong Chow.
It was just like a generic Asian name.
After Homer continues to climb regardless, Brad and Neil falsely report that he had switched to a competing brand. The mountain proves too treacherous and high for Homer, who takes shelter in a cave. In it, he finds McAllister's frozen body and
as I mentioned,
evidence proving that it was Grandpa who betrayed him. Too tired and ashamed to continue, Homer sticks to his flagpole on the plateau, and ensuing crack collapses the rest of the mountain, making the plateau he is on the peak. Proud, Homer uses McAllister's body to sled down the mountain slide.
Yeah.
He's greeted by the crowd.
Yeah. So great. Yeah. That is the whole episode. Yeah. Just great fun. Such a great adventure for Homer. Just so many, like I mentioned about the episode we reviewed earlier, just like so many well-written, clever gags. Like he becomes obsessed with everything being in bar form. And there's one bit where he's like, I'm gonna squish all this 10 pounds of spaghetti into a bar, and just uses a cleaver thing, turns into a bar, eats it, and just goes to the phone and is like, hello, hospital please. Just like quick little gags like that are so consistent and good. Made me laugh out loud at the end as well. It's just like this classic silly Simpsons guy, but I love this when Bart's like using his binoculars to see the flag up on the mountain.
Yeah.
It's like, I just see the pole, maybe the flag flew away. He's just, there's a classic dough, and then Marge looks as well and is like, is that your wallet? He left his wallet on the mountain. So good. Just like wonderful guys throughout. A great adventure for Homer. A good dissection of his character too. Like the whole stuff of like him like genuinely struggling, feeling insecure about his weight and stuff like that was like kind of deep and different for the Simpsons. Like Sensible Help like dragging him out of the house, trying to get him running. He's like out of breath and so exhausted, and we just see Flanders' mailbox. Like he only got that far.
So good.
It was a wonderful, fun episode. Like I said, just one that I always forget about, and
people do.
I'll be midway into it and be like, oh no, this is great. I think people are so quick to discount like any or at least most episodes from season 9 just because it's kind of considered like the end of the golden era. Like people always kind of say seasons 1 to 8. Yeah. So season 9 kind of gets discounted. I think season 9 has so many stellar episodes.
So good.
Yeah. I think the only one that really gets credit is the City of New York versus Homer Simpson. Like, that one gets a lot of praise. Every other episode from the season doesn't really get much attention, and this is one in particular that I think deserves it. I think it's a wonderful, fun episode.
Yeah, I would give this episode from season 9 a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10? Yeah, I'd give it 9 as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just wonderful, fun, so many great gags, and also like a deeper spiritual journey for Homer that I think is done so well without getting too deep, but you know, you do feel for him, and we want to see him succeed. Yeah, beautiful episode. Alrighty, let's jump into Keep It Short.
Which Dillon knows all about. Classic. I'm going to have to make that classic every week.
Every single time.
That's Seb's classic.
We have like 30 more of these to do before we're done. Dillon knows very well about. This one was called Maggie's Brain, and was pretty unexceptional, to be honest, as a lot of these are. we will dissect it. Lisa and Bart are looking after Maggie, and they think they can tell what Maggie is saying through her body language. And Bart starts playing Little Piggy with her feet, and she just kicks him. And Lisa's like, "Oh, I think her body language is saying game's over." And Bart,
how many? You know the Piggy song.
Yeah.
What is it?
This little piggy went to the market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef. This little piggy had none. This little piggy cried wee all the way home. I did notice that he had to like go back because there's only 4.
I thought it was 5.
Yeah,
I was thinking how much
it is 5. Yeah,
because my mum used to play it with me when I was a kid, and
mine still does.
I actually have 5 testicles, so like instead of playing it with my fingers, she would play it with my individual testicles because I had 5. Do you not know this?
And they really are a little piggy too.
Yeah. They even when you touch them make like a little
oink noise.
I have 5 pig testicles.
Well, fun fact, you learn something new every day. My lucky lady. Oh Lord.
I have severely high testosterone.
yeah, clearly. Jesus Christ, that explains it. Yeah. That explains why you drop kicked and punched me before we started recording the podcast. Then they're looking at Maggie, and he says that if she they wonder what she'll be when she grows up, and if she has like any dreams or fantasies. And we cut to her fantasizing about her torturing like a smaller version of Bart and Lisa while she's a giant. That was a fun little animated visual. Then Bart just goes, "Oh, maybe it's thinking about how much it loves us." It's like, "Oh, I guess we'll never know." That's just a conclusion of it. A pretty unexceptional sketch, I thought. I thought the animation of her fantasy was pretty good, but other than that, it was like, just a pretty throwaway meh sketch, to be honest. Yeah. And a lot of these are like that, because they didn't know what the characters were yet, or they didn't know it was going to become a huge successful TV show. They were just little sketches that were made for a sketch show, you know. Yeah, it's interesting. This one was definitely just forgettable. Yeah. But yeah, let's jump into the recommendations then. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Rock, paper, scissors. Hey. Sorry, bud. My first recommendation, I have 2 as always. My first one, I mean, I've recommended this guy before. You probably know who I'm going to say. But I had to recommend it again just because he has a new special out. It's Sam Merle's new special on Amazon. You've Changed. Yeah, You've Changed. Fantastic. It's on Amazon Prime. I just love him so much.
Dillon met him.
I met him in real life and I bombed. Yeah, I'll tell that story. Yeah, I was with my buddy Ollie Miller. We went to see him at the Leicester Square Theatre, and a bunch of the other comedians that were there watching the show knew that he was coming out from the back entrance. So we just waited for him to come out. I think he was with his...
Dillon loves the back entrance. So.
We know very well. He was coming out, I think he was with his girlfriend, and the comedians were all chatting to him. Just shaking his hand, being like, "I love the show, man." I was like, he was kind. He was like, "Oh, thank you very much." And then my buddy Ollie goes, "Keep it up, man." That was a weird thing to say for like a hugely successful comedian.
Keep it up, man. You'll get there one day.
Yeah, exactly. So then I said, "I think he will." And Sans kind of like looked at me and like gave a little smirk, but it was you know the smirk he has.
Yeah, that little
kind of like a grumpy smirk. Yeah, it was a smirk of disappointment. Yeah. And then he left. So I bombed in front of like easily top 3 favorite comedians in the world. Yeah, it will always leave a little bad taste in my mouth, but it doesn't stop me from thinking he's a fantastic comedian, obviously. But yeah, You've Changed is just a fantastic special, and it was really cool to see as well because the show that I saw at the Leicester Square Theatre was like a rougher version of what this show is now. It was like so many tight jokes, and like he told like versions of the jokes that just weren't as tight in the Leicester Square Theatre. Like this one is just like all those shows perfected to a T. So it's really cool to see that arc. And yeah, it's just a perfect special. Just jokes. He's a comedian who like makes me laugh out loud. Like as I was saying earlier, there's some jokes like I like some comedians. I'll just watch them and be like, that's a good joke. But like his jokes make me laugh out loud because they're just like dark or just ridiculous, or the punchline's unexpected. Exactly, you know what I mean? Yeah. One of my favorite ones he has, just as an example of like dark but also funny, is he has one about abortions where he goes, I find it weird that they say performing an abortion. Like, I don't want the doctor to come in being like, showtime. You know, it's a good, you don't see it going there, like perfect choice of words, everything, just like an amazing writer. And yeah, just couldn't recommend this special enough. Yeah,
I like that. I was listening to a podcast that he was on the other day, and he was explaining about how like he just does, like, goes on, you know how he just trolls news.
Oh, it's so good.
He just does it for fun now, and like to the point where people have like caught on now.
I know, they're kind of in on the joke now. But he'll still end up doing something that they won't approve of. Like they'll be willing, and then he'll just say something too dark, and then they'll cut him off early or something.
But can I just say, telling a successful comedian keep it up is almost insulting, by the way.
It is,
It's almost insulting. It's like, well,
it's patronizing.
He doesn't need to keep it up. He's literally at the top.
Yeah, exactly. He's making a decent living. He's touring. He's an American comedian doing a theatre in London. He's obviously doing all right.
My recommendation for the week is The Killer.
The Killer. Michael Fassbender. David Fincher movie. David
Fincher movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Wow. Like, the ratings don't seem to be that good.
It was very divided, I saw,
I absolutely love this movie, and people listening probably don't know, but I used to be a sound designer and into sound design.
I'm sure you must have mentioned it before, no?
I don't know.
Maybe not, yeah.
But, so that's my kind of
area of expertise.
I like to say, like, I'm an expertise in film. I don't know if that sounds twatty, but
definitely sound.
My main area was sound.
Yeah, you have a degree in it. You did it for 4 years. Yeah, you can definitely say you have expertise there.
And from a sound design perspective, I mean, whenever you see that, what's his face does the score?
Oh, Jesus, I have no idea.
His name.
Is it Hans Zimmer?
No. It's
the score for The Killer.
The guy from 9 Inch Nails.
Oh, right. Yeah, I know he does a lot of movies now. I know that. Yeah, I don't know his name. But yeah, I know. He did...
Trent Reznor.
There you go, yeah.
So, whenever you see he's doing the score for a movie, you know it's
going to be solid. Yeah.
But, my God, like, I'm just... There's the sound design in this film, man. I'm sitting there just, like, almost orgasming.
Wow.
It's so good. Like,
almost.
I'm sitting there and, like... You rarely watch films and think, oh, that's good sound design. But this film, it just pushes it so far out, but like it's still contained.
Yeah.
But like you can just tell they put so much effort into like perfecting the sound in this film, and also like being experimental with it. And like it's very cool. This film is what I'll say. It's such a cool film. Like the way he like puts a sniper together and like
I did see a lot of reviews saying that like it felt like it returned to form for David Fincher, that it felt more like kind of like to the tone of like Fight Club and Seven rather than like his more recent movies. That's cool.
It's just an awesome film, man. And it's also a film that's quite open-ended, and you're sort of like questioning the protagonist, where you're like wondering what his like what the point of what he's doing is, but in a way that makes it more interesting, because you're kind of like trying to figure out who the protagonist really is, as well as what he's doing.
I love that. I must get to it. I mean to watch it. You definitely sold me now. For sure. Great to see Michael Fassbender back as well, because he'd taken a few years out because he was getting into Formula 1 racing. Great to see him acting again. Always just someone who inspires me, because he's from the same county as me, so seeing him do big movies and stuff is so cool. It also inspires me too, because my stepdad used to work in a restaurant with Michael Fassbender that his parents owned. I don't think it's there anymore, but they said that like no one believed in him about him wanting to be an actor, because he was really shy and quiet. They're like, there's no way this guy's going to make it. And you know, he fucking proved them wrong. I just love hearing that, you know. Proved them wrong big time. My second recommendation is going to be a push for you. I don't think I could convince you to watch this, but it is like honestly one of my favorite TV shows I've ever watched. It's called Life After Beth. Have you heard of it? It's written by and starring Amy Schumer.
Oh, okay.
She is genuinely amazing in it.
Okay.
Her boyfriend in it is played by Michael Cera, and I think the best performance he's ever done.
I like Michael Cera.
He finds out that he's autistic, and what they do with his arc is brilliant. That's only a side story though. It mainly focuses on Amy Schumer. Her mom dies, and it makes her reconsider all of her life choices, and it's kind of trying to build herself back up from the bottom after the death of her mom. It's so honest, and I love comedians just being comedians, but when you see them really being like honest and like revealing in their writing, that always inspires me. And Life After Beth really does that. Like, there's so many specific things that happen in the show that it's not made up.
Yeah.
Because it's so specific, you know. There's lots of stuff like that. And it just, for someone who I only ever saw as being like a silly, goofy comedian, Amy Schumer, this was such a like revealing. It's a comedy drama, like there's lots of very funny bits, but there's really, really serious shit in it as well. And it's just a really beautiful show. It's 2 seasons, 10 episodes each, and I cried, I laughed. It's really, really beautiful series. Yeah, wonderful stuff. Wow. Yeah, very, very surprising for Amy Schumer. A lot of males dislike her. I'm very familiar with that. Like I was never a huge fan of anything I've seen from her. Like I thought Trainwreck was okay. I haven't really seen any of her stand up. But this show just caught my attention, and it ended up being like 20 times better than I had anticipated. Mm-hmm. Really, really wonderful show. Yeah, couldn't recommend enough. Yeah, you have any final recommendation?
I actually don't
this
week.
Okay. We'll just leave it there.
Quiet week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright.
See you, man.
See you, man.
No, we still got the questions to go through. Let's do the questions. So just 2 this week, as usual, actually. Our good buddy Jack Tyak, who was on the podcast before, quite an interesting question. Which of Homer's jobs would you like the most? Of all the jobs he's had before, which one would you like the most? I actually hadn't even thought about this before
if I was a normal
recording.
If I was a normal human being that wanted to have a child, I'd say the job of being a father. But as I'm not,
of course you're not. Yeah, we always talked about that in the last podcast. How you never want to be a dad. Yeah. Homer job. I mean, one that comes to my mind immediately is obviously I want to work in film and TV and stuff. Because he got to make a movie with Mel Gibson.
That's true.
And you know, I like Mel Gibson. And I definitely see eye to eye with a lot of his views. So I would. I would love to work with him. No, I mean, Homer got to make a movie, so like I would like to do that. So
I suppose I'd say the same thing.
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes into my head. I mean, I wouldn't like to be a musician. It's never been a dream of mine. But you know, the B sharps is cool, and how successful being part of a touring a cappella group would be an interesting job. I wouldn't refuse that. You gotta go to space. I wouldn't mind going to space.
Yeah,
I wouldn't refuse the opportunity.
Astronaut,
He's had so many crazy jobs. Yeah. Those are the ones that come to my mind immediately. He got to be an assistant to Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger. I'd do that. Let's be an assistant to Alec Baldwin now. That's probably... They should remake that episode. Have to be his assistant after the shooting. Yeah. That'd be an awkward life. But that pretty much answers that question, really. Those are the best ones. Yeah. Musician, making a movie, films, and going to space. Yeah, obviously going to space. Absolutely. Second question comes from Anthony Adskiak, not someone that either of us know, so I assume it's someone who's listened to the podcast we don't know personally, which I always like to see, so thank you for the question, Anthony. An interesting question. He said, tricky question, favorite female on the show other than Marge and Lisa? There's very little, which is obviously the point of his question. Kind of a preachy question now that I look at it, actually. He's trying to put us into a corner here.
But everyone knows we don't like women. So it is a difficult
What's the point of the question? Yeah, exactly.
It's you're not catching us out.
Like, it's no fucking
surprise. We hate women.
I mean, I would say Maggie, but I don't want to say her because that's too obvious.
I would actually
Selma.
say Miss Kabapple.
Oh! I forgot. No, definitely Mrs.
Because she has the most to her
going on. Yeah, interesting arc, and they did a lot with her before Marsha Wallace unfortunately passed away. Yeah, she's great. I do like Rachel Payton as well, though, the character who replaced her.
She's good.
Kerry Washington voices. Yeah, she's great. No, I'd agree. Definitely the best female besides Marge and Lisa, for sure. I would put Selma at a close second. They definitely have developed her a lot more than Patty. Yeah, she's a lot more going on. She's been married so many times. I mean, she's a hopeless romantic. So I like her too. Obviously, Fish Called Sam is her best episode. Yeah, great episode. Yeah, Krabappel first for sure. Then I put Selma closely after.
Yeah.
Then like probably Patty, Helen Lovejoy I put close. Luann's good. Luann Van Houten.
True.
I like her.
Yeah.
Just more than I thought actually. See? Yeah. Not so clever, Anthony. Is there any good once-off characters? Oh, Mindy Simmons is great. The one that voiced by Michelle Pfeiffer, that Homer nearly slept with. She's a great character. Great voice acting from her in that episode. Oh, Reverend Lovejoy's daughter that Bart dates.
Oh yeah.
Voiced by Meryl Streep really brilliantly. Jessica Lovejoy, she's a great character. What I love about Meryl Streep in that episode, what a great actress she is you don't even know it's her. She just sounds like a regular Simpsons character.
I know.
Which I really appreciate. She just emulated kind of like what the other voice actors were doing really well. It just like fits into the mold of Springfield so perfectly. I think that's a consistent enough answer. We said a few females. Got you good. Yeah, try again next time, Anthony. But yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you, as always, for listening. This was a pretty tight podcast. Just like the episode, I guess. You said it felt rushed. This one felt like...
We like tight.
We were firing on all cylinders here. But thank you as always for listening. Be sure to follow the podcast on Instagram or wherever you get your podcasts.
Always remember, it's not easy being grateful all the time, but it's when you feel the least thankful that you are most in need of what gratitude can give you.
That's a really beautiful quote that you didn't definitely just read. Yeah.
Seb Sanger.
I mean, you just left the podcast off on a beautiful emotional quote, so I think I'll do the very same thing. Don't turn down ass play until you know for sure.
Wow, inspiring.
I think so. I believe Gandhi said that.
And I just wanted to end it off on a note.
Yeah,
please. I'm not racist.
Oh no. No one has ever said that, and the next thing was good.
I hate black olives. Green olives are much better.
You didn't need to say I'm not racist before giving a food opinion. I like white pudding more than black pudding. There, I said it. Catch you all really soon.